Sky Song. Somewhere I read you long to dispossess yourself of yourself, slowly adjust to the suffering and the shit again. The other day, I was watching the sky drowning in blue as I laid in the grass. I shouted a Dumas poem to the sun. Take the blood up from the grass, sun. Take it up. These people do not thirst for it. Take up the insect children that play in the grass, sun. Take them away, these people are sick of them. Take down the long, slender reeds, sun. Cut them down. These people cannot make flutes any longer. Now, sun, come closer to the earth, even closer than that. Closer now, sun. Take away the shape from the metal, sun. These people are like stone. Now make them lava. I like there to be a space in between us, then also a crushing, pounding, this fullness of articulation. I mean, no, but yes, but no. Motherfuckers are always asking too many questions. The dispossession of this individuality held in that already given to the unconscious, haven't given itself away. It never was. What if it's not about putting shit together, but how shit falls apart? Shit. Open that void wide up. Eating ass for breakfast, I keep getting off. Open up, get in. Shit slinger, master cleanse. Silly boy, faggot, fuck the sun fucker. The rationality of this decolonization, the brutalizing interplay of centrality and constricted motion. Reform, fade up, a dark empty room lit by only evening light, a window set high against the back wall, no color, no percussion, footsteps the only sound. Don't cry, baby. Dry your pretty eyes and smile at me. It's space-time itself. Ever since I woke up this morning, I've had so many horrible thoughts. I thought about people who I agree on 99% of what they say and whom I share 99% of their desires. I've lost count, and that's bad. I really want to work on that. I really want to work on being a better person, but I know I can't do that by myself or in my head or in the interpersonal diorama. Maybe you can't separate it. Maybe it's inside and outside and non-externalizable, a war of our own correlative device. Images wash into view. We comically fall off a cliff and come into everyday life. Now, double that into open space, the performative enactment of our always already being, singing Hosanna in the ear of anarchist bliss, furiously falling into love, into waterfalls, mysterious, mischievous, and always already. The other day, lying in the green, watching the sky go from pitch to dim to violet to pink, it settles.
Hello. How's it going? I wish I was there. I wish I could be there. To smell the air, at the very least. Bobby said they thought that it must smell amazing. The damp and the wet coming in from the cold. I'm really grateful you invited me to read, Precious. I'm sad that my voice is now my person, but this, I suppose, is something we must be ready for now. Or this now, as I've been thinking and saying. Okay, I'm gonna read some poems from Shade the King. I haven't read these for a while. When I wrote them, my voice was different. It's still different. It might crack or flip or something, but I do hope you'll enjoy them. Democracy in action. At my parents' house, they just built a train from a northern suburb to their suburb. The whole suburb hates the train because trains should lead to cities, not suburbs, especially when they cost almost $65 million and only provide service to 65 people a day both ways. I probably voted yes for this train because I like to vote in California on absentee ballots. They call me for jury duty less, and if one day I fulfill my childhood dream and run for president, the people can spend their time debating the sexual nature of the work in my art practice. They'll be assured I always voted. Anyway, I voted yes because I like trains and public transit and the northern suburb the train goes to. Thanks to my vote, when I come home to my parents' house when the sun is setting, I can stand on the balcony and hear 3 long whistles of a train and look at the off-center V of the same mountain I've looked at since before I could speak about looking and think, I'm home now. If I am being honest, this is the only instance I can think of where I feel my vote has mattered. That stainless steel water fountain by the all-gender bathroom. It's leaking. Again. My friend is looking to you, but he cannot tell. I don't know about lack. I ponder a woman in the midst of emancipation, wrung out in the sun. Something to hitch meat to. Free, free, free. All we are and are not. ABC poem. We've all been thinking that we are the same size as one another. This is because we're so used to seeing ourselves in one another that we do not notice we are not each other. Why don't your clothes fit me? Why do I have to stoop down to hug you? We'll both be having the polenta. The ladies are drinking bourbon. Where do you go when you're not with me? I'll find you in the underneath. We will bring the hot dog buns to the cookout. You'll make the conversation and I'll look at the breeze. I'll carry you to the car in a blanket. I'm sorry, this walk, the hot dog buns, coming home for the weekend. These are the only bailouts I can offer. T has 11 on her t-shirt, and nobody can tell that it is 11. 11 is a sinful number because you cannot count to it on your fingers. You must always remember the 10 that came before. 11 is an exercise in not knowing. We're all so tired of counting to 11. E wrote on a journal, Sandra Bland is dead and someone is responsible. We are calling you in regards to the rights you have taken away. We have been emailing you about the rights you have taken away from us. G asks, what do you do when you're in an open relationship, when you've both been dating other people, but then you stop dating each other, but sometimes you sleep together? This cycle could go on forever. Maybe one day you could date again. Does this mean that there are no ends and no beginnings? What does Lady J think about this? She and I both know that Genesis is still with her. Just like the beginning, it's a rib in your body. You can feel that it was missing, and you can feel when it is as near as replaced. Are you the rib from my body? Am I the rib from yours? None of this answers G's question. Is this a cycle? If we go into the ground in a box, and the maggots turn us into dirt, if the box is treated with formaldehyde, if we are treated with formaldehyde, will the dirt have formaldehyde? If we're vegetarian and our food comes from the dirt, are we eating formaldehyde? How often? How can I? Heaven help me. Hail Mary. How many herbs do I have to take so that I can drown out the drone of white supremacy in my body, not to mention the formaldehyde? How dangerous is it to drive at night without your lights on? How many U-turns until I am going in the right direction? How many times will I try to make smoke from this burning molehill into a mountain you can see from far away? What isn't going on? Hail Marvin. I mean, I have nothing to say to you except that I miss you, and I want you to turn into dirt with me. I want to turn into dirt beside you. I mean, I don't want to turn into dirt just beside you. I want to turn into dirt beside the woman that I am in love with also. I mean, I want to turn into dirt beside S and M, and also Q and G and L and R and J and S and M and S, and I mean, I want to turn into dirt beside all of you. I mean, is that even allowed? What would my mother say? I hear the life expectancy for my generation is going to be lower than hers, so my mother will outlive me. I don't want to shame her. As I think about it, I doubt she'll care about who is turning to dirt beside me, just that I'm turning to dirt first. It is comforting that I'll turn to dirt first. Arrested development. Just put your hand on the back of my neck. Just lay down next to me. Just look at the snow on the mountains. My entire family's names start with K, except for mine, because I chose mine. Because the name my mother gave me was stupid. Christina. According to Google, it means touched by an angel. 8 letters is too many, especially for someone who could not really say R until well after age 7. I could not go by Chris. I don't look like a boy. I mean, now I look like a boy, but then I did not look like a boy. I guess I have always looked like a boy for a girl. Chris is a boy's name. Kris Jenner is a woman. Kris Jenner's whole family's names also start with K, except for the men. We have a lot in common, Kris Jenner and I. Listen, I'm lost inside of you. Listen, you're lost inside of me. Listen, I'm lost inside of M. Listen, I cannot find my way out of J. Listen, I'm lost inside of Q. Why don't your clothes fit me? We're wondering why those men have their hands against the wall. We're wondering why they have a line on their back. Who drew it? We're wondering how they came to be standing there. Why can't those men come inside? A few days ago, at the Hammer, I saw a baby jacket with a Supreme patch on it, and I almost bought it because there are never baby jackets with Supreme patches on them. I could raise children with you, and approximately 3 others. I do want to have children, just not the way we've been told to have children. You can have them, or J can have them, or S can have them, or we can find them. With somebody else, who we do not know, will have had them. If I had a daughter, I'd name her Noor, which means light. It is also a grammatical joke. I do not think she would like it, but I will like it. I hope we will like it in the same way that my mother likes the sound of my name. When she says it, she can hear all of me, the various iterations of me, each one needing one thing or another thing, and each one receiving that one thing or another thing through some sort of chain, all linked back to her. We're all becoming our mothers and not our mothers simultaneously, nor is a good name, because it sounds like a thing that is not, an adamant expression of nothing. It says neither or nor this thing. This is not a thing to be classified or justified. This is not a thing, nor, nothing, neither, nothing, or. According to G and the internet, there is currently a meeting of octopuses. Octopi is also correct, near the Great Barrier Reef. They are surely meeting about the sound level in the ocean. Z was telling me that the whales are confused because they cannot hear themselves over the drone of the ships and those navigation systems. Where will they go if we have thrown them off course? G says that the octopuses are probably preparing for a rebellion. A beating is a parable. A quotient is the result of division. For example, when dividing a nation by its own bigotry, the quotient is dead trans women of color. Where will we go now that they have thrown us off course? These are just the pants that we're wearing today. Someday soon, someone will come along and say, these are the pants we are all wearing now. Rarely do we remember what happened to our previous pants. We send them to the landfill to be churned and buried. Their chemicals seep into our water supply, and then we drink them. I do like the chemicals inside of me. I would like it if you were all inside of me. I digress. What I mean is, if it's happening to us, it'll happen to you too. Either we drink our pants or we send them to Africa to be washed by hand, hung on a line, and sold in the street. And then what? Rarely are the things that we do as meaningful as we'd like them to be. When we throw something away, we expect it to stay away. The bird did not shit on your head to bring you good luck. The bird shit on your head because birds have to shit. Your head is not important. We should all be so lucky to shit where we want. The share economy is a front for capitalism. Sage is a cleaning product. Salt goes behind the shoulder. My uncle has a sailboat. Cross your legs when you sit. Sit under the surface with me. Move when they believe they have seen you. Cover the camera on your computer. Don't forget to silence yourself. We're about to enter the theater of war. Try turning your program into a hat. You can keep your head warm. We're not here for your shortcomings. We're not here to corrupt your children. We're not coming for you. We want you to be happy. We're sorry you've been tricked into believing industry is your father. We all have daddy issues. Have you heard of an anti-portrait? A sunset behind clouds is an anti-portrait of the sun. The sun will be setting, and that sunset will be visible to those that know what the sun looks like. The clouds do not dawn upon them. For those that can only see the fainted notes of color across the sky, what you're seeing is an anti-portrait. The sun did not set for you. You, we do not set for you, not you. I've been waiting for you to come back. Can we go now? Why do we have any of this? Why don't your clothes fit me? Why does it sometimes feel like the only reason why any of us have bothered to keep on living is because of our will to make things? In this example, I'm sure I'm being hyperbolic. I hope I'm not being hyperbolic. The caps are melting. Sometimes at my most scared, I wish I had bought a starter home. I know buying things isn't the answer. I have no idea what to do. Or sometimes people. We all sign our emails with XX. Y is only sometimes a vowel. A zebra is black with white stripes. Thank you for having me, precious. I love you. Goodbye.
Sky Song. I am only a body of water nourished by the wind, love my only weapon. I found myself unlacing the monster, the umbilical cord returned back to its matrixial splendor. Everyone just wants the bread and the wine and the blood. Transubstantiation. Recklessly descending on carcasses, I lay my skin out to dry. At the end of the dream, I was tormented, the jerky orgasms of a hysterical life. Time passes very quickly. I feel like a cyclone. Life bursts like an overripe pomegranate a whole day. I never have enough. It's never enough. Always running short, getting bored, keeping up appearances. Try and make more room for laughter. I whisper my secrets, talk of only loving, and we are two entwined, tasting of wild rosemary and vinegar. To the point of ecstasy, you cocoon inside me with fragrances. You laugh, I sing, the references flare on like cocoon palms. Hallelujah, praise on. Praise on. Hallelujah. The mouth sings, the hands, the ass, the feet, the cunt. Your entire being liquefies into the sound, the voices, the rhythm. Meet me inside of the chrysalis. At the peak of ascent, I burst like a cloud. The juice runs down your mouth. The sky songs don't stop, but I roll on, anxious, heavy, trekking through the valley of fear, the tunnels of anguish and the fires of hell. Each one starts pulling. The devil's tail is in my mouth. Fear pierces me. I doze into my daydream with rose petal eyelids. The day comes, soft and velvety upon my tongue, feathers falling from the sky and red pussy sunsets, the desire of the drill of power. The sky is set with a statue of protest, the feet of the drowning things. The soil is perched. I am petty, hushed up, and scandalous, pretty, unavoided guilt. Please amend the hatred of the narrow thinking of my mind. At the end of the daydream, I am frustrated on the bed with my ass in the air. I know how to dispose of my aborted dreams. The boredom falls equally on all things, the stagnant, unbroken brightness. Oh, I see a butterfly. Sorcery lulls me into melancholy tenderness. My anger laps up with flames. I was awakened by the night. Ah! By the end of the daybreak, before the end of the world, before all fathers, the mother with chapped lips and blisters tends to the rotting tree. The wind whistles, it makes an odd noise like crackling. This is just the disgrace, a colonial highway, wind plucked and brown like twigs flying up in smoke. Dried, bitter leaves, yearning rags, everyone's desire goes astray, for this is a sea of garbage. The sea opens up into a foaming rage, for this is a pile of muck. I compare my lust to a foolish forest. I wish it was in my power to show you. I discover myself a distant mirage. I am only waters of the sky. I declare my sins, for there's nothing to say in my defense. Dance idols, for I am too an apostolate. I have assigned God with my laziness, my words, my gestures, my obscene songs. I swallow a void of butterflies straight into the earth's breast. From staring too long at trees, I have become a tree. Now my feet are strong in the ground. My feet have dug into the ground. I am venomous. This is where I go. This is the madness of remembering. This is the madness. I am unleashed. Do you know the rest? At the end of the beginning, I choke on the wings of the butterflies, angels guarding gates of the void. I have exhausted memory's patience, defied, tired. I worship my perversity. It overwhelms me. Oh, what impenetrable jungle. Oh, what horrible leaps. I charm the snakes. I turn the rain back into waves. Effort just to stay alive. The promised times will never return. A cursed venereal sun pecked out by hummingbirds, eternally renewed cross. I lie in my grave of animality, legs parted, standing stiff, fear in the back of my throat, fear in the trees, fear in the ground, fear in the sky. Piled up in anguish, may the stars find my confidence, stuffing my throat with fangs. This is the end of the world, begin again. Mourning and forgetfulness, rotting in the sun's overhead pulse. O love of the world, I hate you. Resting in vanity, bathe me in blood, emptied of anger, emptied into the earth, recoil and expand. The body convulses and resounds. It's all about perspective. Standing in the midnight sun, rise, sky liquor, rise.
Alright, this is called Dream Poem for Lux. In the dark, a little shape looms familiar on the brink, arms all laden with friends. Steps practiced but heavy over the barrier. I reach up to catch the fall, as always, and roll into awkward embrace. Light rises on a spiked sleep, sentience in the drift like water dreaming itself. And all these fish! Elegant mackerel and sharks on the Ritz, in pearls and silk, every living thing a catch in the storming spirit of the new world. Who needs them, these beds and gulches? Fish are for eating and life is for living, no less murderers for all we think we know. As a wet red dress I stood floundering in a hotel, somehow left alone with the men, and then alone again. Mugs game, left that bitch behind like beauty. Stretched out the fishy beast in the snouted bag of me, my bedshirt, damp, dry, wet rope, warm rubber. Alive or dead, now only homing to another. Oh, my little carbon footprint, may she live to turn it over. Land up something much better than I gave her. Alright, this is called Postcard. Manic pixie dream bag lady, manic pixie addict uncle, manic pixie dead head teacher, manic pixie dream neurodiversity in an aging population. I'm sitting alone on the warm stone of a deserted tourist attraction watching the river while insects die in the floodlights. Beer number 1 like sweet treacle from the can. sky all pissy and sullen, turning up the sharpening contrast like an empty threat. Spare me the think pieces on how I learned to stop hurting and love thee, etc., my struggle as a me in the face of the grace of the we, comforting ontologies of the fractured left and/or grabs from the snowflake sector for some kind of stable selfhood. Let it all go, let's go. No end to the hurt, no end to the love, all kinds of ways to live a life. Some days are a bunch of emoji stickers and carefree acts of being. Some days the reckoning itself is all counted up and accounted for. Who's scared? Said a mother to her child, and I overheard. Is Dolly scared? Is Monster scared? Is Mummy scared? Yes, said the baby. No, said the mother. Mummy's not scared. Liar, I thought. Liar. This is called Devant les Enfants 1. On a rubber-tiled Technicolor tundra, zoo-born beasts with Christianized names play out their petty psychodramas in a post-race animalia of boys, girls, and occasionally someone else, complete with own storyline, dialectically suffering and thriving, etc., loved and affirmed by both parents and indeed the industry itself. Dinosaurs, carnivores, and walking porks, smiling in police hats and princess dresses, drive happy cars through happy lands. No arrests are made, nor laws upheld, beyond the bright white birthright of the endless happy ending of the oozing Marxist model in whichever ever after. Cue canned children's laughter. We clean our fangs with fluoride, pull socks on over claws, wash paws, change clothes, disappointment, anxiety, status-based resentment. How to talk to your children about people who want you to talk to your children. How to talk about what those people get paid. About the fact that there are no morals, nor heroes, puff hats and glory dogs pinkly put to worthy earthwork on the soft edge of a hard machine, guzzling blood and fossil grease. Bent backs, deferred grief, sick heads, cold shoulders, muddied knees, knees and toes, knees and toes. Oh, how to talk to your children about the children at the border, about the bodies in the desert, about the big red motor car at the end of the world, smiling death with his panda eyes, pandemic fairy princess, jumping frog and talking wind-up mouse, brother cockroach, chubby maggot, oily meister, talking mouth of open mud and wind-up wound. 1, 2, 3, and up we all go boom. This is called For Sarah After 5 Years. Dear military wife, I went alone and drunk to midnight mass on a street rotten with gift shops and bridal boutiques. Thought of you and of what you call poetry. Thought of your kid and you know how I worry. The headstones in chorus, much, most, moon and stars. Lies here, love always, devoted, dear, devoted, etc. In the church, clustered halos swarm round Jesus like white blood cells. Open eaves, wide as spread legs above it. Most of the theory exhausts me for real, like it's bad drugs, bad medicine, a noxious substance held at arm's length by clever people who don't see the trouble and how it clouds the world and clogs the throat. Precocious misfits from no-count shit towns forge a lonely bohemia through sheer force of will and the fueling cruelty of others. It isn't courage, it's damage. In your skirt and dick-sucking girlhood, you were the best and bravest of all the daisies in the field. I don't want to talk about all that. I'm never going back. One shoe unhealed, bag of sugar unspoiled, waste merch, no leaves, mercy on the Christmas lights, round cocked hole in the body unseen, the crucible of language itself, and all the metaphors of fingers, and what we can't know we don't know. You know? I dreamed I attended your wedding party. There was wet confetti on the steps of the church, and the moon hung in its cradle like a skinny pale baby in the crook of an arm. Typed half of my immune system out into a chat window and called it a love story. Red bricks, grey skies, girls out late in goose flesh, and going straight, if that's what you call it, was like being loamed in a box underground. This is dream fragment number 4. The animals had escaped the zoo and were roaming the park by the bridge. Enlarged cats, huge birds, and then the real tigers rumoured to be out there among them. I made it to the late show for the sex workers' opera, which consisted of many circus tricks, in which the tall real girls were supposed to balance in the palm of someone's hand in the stripper heels before executing a perfect jump and roll in mid-air. A wild leap of faith, and the roaring crowd always caught them in time, but it felt entropic. The performers seemed tired and a bit drunk, over it, but the crowd wanted spectacle and body heat and shouted for more. I took an Uber pool partway home to South London, but the driver stopped by the park, worried that the schizophrenic brother who he cared for at home had escaped to wander among the animals. The cops were doing their stop and searches, and the animals had killed the lights on the bridge, but the air of the night felt all right. My phone buzzed, and it was Anonymous, who then hung up, and then there he was, outside the corner shop. The guy in the Uber pool was looking for an open pub where he could keep drinking and maybe sleep. I offered him a bed, but he didn't want to. This is called Circuits. The fair smells like pork grease and donuts, neons bright in the rain. A drunk I went to school with rides the ghost train alone. I go in my pocket for coins, and there's the lucky stone been weighting down my coat. Don't know who gave it me or why, but it's as heavy as any blessing. Today they took so much blood, a long list of tests to discover how good I could be at giving or having life, and on the list it clearly said, not deceased. Do you have everything you need, she goes. Sex? Coffee? I'm like, if you got it. A long look passed between us, and then told her of the glory of dreaming aloud and the long moments, sometimes days, before it becomes terrifying. Wild flight, communion, and meanwhile it's all awkward smiles and half entendres, sickly but bright-eyed as I take my inevitable leave. A Ouija boredom puppets up the old ghosts and machinery until it's all whirring out there in the wereworld, humming and yammering, wee, us, and the punchline clicks into place. And finally, a sonnet for the spread. This is after Nicanor Para. I would prefer to die ahead of you. As such, I hope this message finds you well. They shut the sex clubs up on Thursday night. They're disinfecting down the carousel. And when I said, we're running out of time, you looked at me like I'd said something weird. Perhaps you knew I'd only feel relief when things turned out exactly as I feared. Was scary then, and shit, it's scary now. But worse the thing imagined in the dark than what emerged unnerving in the glare and snowballed gorgeous on its upturned arc. The data is indifferent to us, babe. Our odds are portioned in each slice of pie. We can't both lose the only game in town. I would prefer that you be first to die. Thank you, precious. I wish I was there with you. See you later. This was Jessie, darling.